So where are you from?
All Souls in Berkeley.
Really? Hi, I'm Pam.
Your name?
Pam.
Pam, I'm Phil.
Phil, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Where's All Souls?
On Cedar and Spruce.
I don't know why I'm not even able to remember.
So, just 2 blocks up from Shattuck.
That's... 2 blocks up from Shattuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to... Oh, yeah. Okay, there's a lot of AA meetings there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's got a very nice feel to it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Because I think actually a space can have a sense to it, even when people aren't there, that helps people who come there understand what it's like or how it's supposed to be.
I agree. There's certain places that especially places where people worship sincerely.
Yeah.
And you walk into it and you can just feel it.
You can feel?
Yeah.
That's the truth. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what religion.
Yeah, but you can feel that
You can feel a sacred sense of worship and sincerity.
I wonder what that is. Like, I really do. Like, how does it get to be that way?
Well, I feel the same way, like in a redwood grove.
Huh, yeah.
Or, like, it's almost the same sacred sense.
Oh, it should be.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain groves where, do you ever go to the redwoods and then you start talking quieter?
It's like, this sense of awe, right?
Right.
Reverence.
And you're not supposed to make a lot of noise.
Right.
And it's like the trees there's a sense of respect, like in a place of worship.
Holding that space.
Yeah. They're bigger than us and older than us. Like when you see the redwood rings and they say this is when the Roman Empire fell and this is when Jesus lived.
Right, and it's like
1,000
years or several hundred years older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me to see that they were here when Jesus was here.
It's also sad to me that, like, the way we know it, it's often it's because we've cut it down. And you're just like, I wasn't here in the 1860s or 1880s, and I just don't think that people realized what they were losing when they were doing it.
It's hard to know. I mean, it's a hard job to cut down trees. But can you imagine what it was like when they were 20 feet around?
And you get these saws, right? And you're just going.
Yeah, 2 guys back and forth. And people got really badly hurt. I remember when I was little seeing a movie about loggers.
Oh yeah.
And just about how dangerous, they cut things off all the time, and and then they're out in the middle of nowhere, and you cut an artery, and you're dead.
Yep.
And this one movie, I was really young, and I don't know why we were watching it.
Now I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah. Well, we were in Central America. We were
were
missionaries in Belize.
Really?
My parents were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm not a Jehovah's Witness anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
But because it's a very different sort of thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there in Belmont Pond where we lived, there was like one movie theater, and they would show a movie like on Saturday nights. So it'd be like
that was it.
The movie, like Planet of the Apes.
Right.
So even though we were little, Planet of the Apes is pretty like intense for 9 years old.
Yeah, it is.
On a big screen. It wouldn't be for the kids today, but for us.
Right, when that was all there was. Right.
Yeah, one week it was Sound of Music, and that's like changed my life, and it really did influence me.
That's pretty crazy.
Because we were so little, and it was such a big deal to go to the movies. Like the whole family to drive and go to the matinee, and it was like everybody in town was there.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have TV.
Right. Yeah, no.
We had the radio.
This was it.
Yeah.
So how did you end up here tonight?
I live in the neighborhood.
And you found out because
I saw the flyers, and I thought that was really cool. And then I saw a mom getting her kids out of the car, and it looked like there were a lot of people going that way. And I asked about it, and I wanted to do it when I first saw it. I just didn't think I was going to get a chance to.
Right.
So it's very nice.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. I'm really glad. Yeah. This is the closest thing I've gotten to going to church in a long time.
Well, this, this is a part of church, right? I mean,
yes.
We're not singing,
We could
which
be.
is a good thing to do, you know. But coming close to each other and seeing God in one another, like, that's the way it happens.
There's a lot of love
Yeah. Yeah.
here. There's a lot of love here. These are wonderful people.
The thing that I kind of bummed is like, I think this is good for us to have this feeling
Yeah.
and to do this. The challenge is being able to, because we haven't, as far as I've seen, yet encountered a lot of folks to be able to have that start of relationship.
Right. Maybe we should do another one during the day.
Right. I wonder what that. Yeah.
Like if we were doing a longer walk during the day, I think we could get more people together.
Yeah.
And I mean, who disagrees with this? It's not like when you're marching for a proposition or something like that. It's not really a political issue. It's just like, who disagrees with, please stop killing the kids.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Even the kids that are shooting each other don't want their, you know, they don't want each other hurt.
No, they. I mean,
And they're
as far
just
as I can tell,
kids.
they just don't want to die,
Right.
and that's the only way they can see not to die.
It's so sad. When I lived in Pasadena in Southern California, I used to sell cable TV, and I came up one day, and there obviously the police had been there and stuff, and I think there was blood, like in the middle of the street, and I asked somebody what had happened, and it was an initiation, where they beat the, you know, they just beat this kid into a pulp to get into a gang, and then once you're in, then they're your family. But he had to submit himself to being abused that way to feel safe. You know?
That's just.
It's a quick way to go.
Yeah.
What direction is it?
And I met another young man, I mean a beautiful young man in Los Angeles, and I talked with him about, he was like a lieutenant or something, you know?
Yeah.
They have like,
Yeah. The hierarchy.
yeah. And I mean, he was beautiful young guy, and he said that for his initiation, he had to stab somebody. So he just went into a supermarket and he just stabbed somebody. And then he went to jail, and then when you get out, then you get to be like up there. And it's okay when you go to jail because they'll take care of you.
Because they've got your back.
So isn't that like sort of like a baptism for the other side? You know?
By blood rather than water.
Yeah. Isn't that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I mean, don't you think he sits around like just as happy about it as God does when people like whatever sort of baptism they go through, where they dedicate themselves to?
Well, and don't you think that? I mean, yeah, because in each sense, there's a sense of entering a family. Oh.
Exactly.
And
Sacrifice and dedication. I mean, dedication for life. What they're doing is like the same thing as someone who takes vows.
yeah, it's a form of vow.
It is.
Because a vow is a promise, right?
Right. And they're putting their lives on the line.
Yeah, because I go down Buena Vista. We try to avoid. Do they have a stop sign?
No.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Thank you, Val.
Well, it's nice of them to stop.
But they
we'll slip
a
in.
little bit.
Let's wait.
Okay.
I think they're not sure what to do.
They're not sure what to do. I think we're going to let them go.
It's dark. It's dark. Is she really? No, I don't think she's waiting.
Is she waiting? All right, go ahead. There you go.
Go ahead.
There we go. And you.
It's our turn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need like those vests, right? Next time. We need those vests.
Yeah.
Yep. But then when you talk, you know, not when I've talked, I've seen documentaries and stuff and interviews with people who just, it really is their family.
Have you ever come across a book? I think it's called Sacred Tattoo. No, what's it called? I think that's what it is. It's about a Jesuit priest who is part of the forming of this thing called Homeboys Industries down in East Los Angeles. It's incredible, and he talks about that, about the sense of family that everybody's hungry for.
Right.
And if this is the only way that you can find it in a stable way that protects you and gives you meaning.
I haven't seen it for a little while.
There's something about facing violence together that allows men, in particular, to express love for one another. Like I've always said, it's so sad because it's only a soldier that in our society that can really say like, well, that's not true, but where it's so obviously comfortable for some very heterosexual guy to say, I love you, man. I will die for you. This is my brother. I will do anything for you. I love you. And to write each other and to stay in communication with one another the way that they used to.
Yeah, and I think that happens to some degree in sports. That's
exactly what I say, like football.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's violent. I mean, like they go, but that's not necessarily true. But that team camaraderie,
but that sense of togetherness, and there's a different. I mean, what it gets down to is intimacy.
Exactly.
Right. There's an intimacy you feel when you go with someone else into something that could wound you, kill you, whatever, and yeah, it's for real.
And so you see the same camaraderie in gangs as you do with soldiers.
Yeah.
And it is true. They face life and death together, and they put their lives in one another's hands.
Yeah.
And it's very sad to me that it's necessary to do things that way. When I went to Cal and I would read like.
What years were you there?
I can't remember. I'm really bad with my memory. It's sad. I have some problems with my memory. But anyways, when I was there and I would read like, why were you there?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. When were you there?
From 1992 to 1996.
That might have been around when I was there.
Yeah.
I was a women's studies major. What did you study?
American media and education.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been very interesting.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Television and the fall of democracy.
Well, yeah, and just seeing, like the whole Noam Chomsky manufacturing.
Oh, I love it.
It's all, and if anything, it's only gotten worse in the last whatever.